You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
In 5 years, pointing and clicking on a screen is, it's going to look as outdated as churning your own butter. I mean, you are no longer the user of your devices.
Yeah, it sounds completely like science fiction, right? But looking at the fundamental architecture changes happening right now, the era of a human manually operating software is, well, it's rapidly coming to an end.
Welcome to the deep dive. We've got this massive stack of tech and design dispatches from late May 2026, and our mission today is to synthesize them to understand this tectonic shift in how we interact with technology.
Exactly.
And for you listening, whether you're a developer, a designer, or honestly just someone trying to use a smartphone without feeling completely overwhelmed, this is critical. We are transitioning from being like users who click buttons to principals who manage AI agents.
It's a huge shift.
Right. And we're going to explore how this is fundamentally rewiring consumer tech, like iOS 27 and big tech redesigns. And then we'll look at the cultural rebellion against all this digital perfection, which is this fascinating movement called Frictionmaxxing.
So to really grasp where tech is heading, we first have to fully internalize that death of the user.
Yeah.
Because if we connect this to the bigger picture, the traditional digital interface we all grew up with.
Like spreadsheets and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. A spreadsheet grid, or the canvas of a slide deck, or a website with drop-down menus. That was basically a historical accident.
An accident? How so?
Well, it was a compromise designed entirely around human limitations. We needed menus and buttons because, we couldn't just speak raw code to the machine.
I see the theory there. But looking at what came out of Google I/O 2026, it feels like that compromise is completely vanishing.
Oh, absolutely vanishing.
Right, because they dropped announcements like Gemini Spark, Android Halo, and WebMCP. And the core message was that we are now delegating our intent to these always running AI agents.
That's the key right there, intent.
But I'm trying to visualize this. Wait, if the AI is the one actually using the app, why do we even need screens at all?
See, that is the million-dollar question. AI agents don't need drop-down menus. They don't need polished graphical user interfaces.
Yeah.
They need structured data.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so when you mentioned WebMCP, which stands for Model Context Protocol, by the way, that is essentially a system allowing AI to read underlying data directly. It completely bypasses the visual screen. The visual interface is, well, it's no longer the product.
Okay, so it's like moving from driving a manual transmission car to
sitting in the back.
Exactly,
Yeah.
sitting in the backseat of a robot taxi. You don't shift the gears, you just tell it the destination.
That is a perfect analogy. And because of that shift, the entire field of user experience is fracturing into two distinct layers. UX is splitting.
Okay, what are the layers?
On one side, you have descriptive guidance for humans. That's setting the goal, the boundaries, the intent. That's you telling the taxi where to go. On the other side, designers now have to create machine-readable specifications.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, these specs contain precise, executable logic for the AI to follow. You are literally designing for the machine just as much as you're designing for the human now.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's unpack the human side of that. Because if the AI is doing the digital driving, what exactly is the human creator supposed to do?
Right.
Like, this stack of sources points to a massive shift from artifact production, which is basically pixel pushing, drawing the screens.
Yeah, the old way.
Exactly. Shifting to intent shaping, where you are defining what a good outcome looks like.
And the stakes for making that transition are incredibly high.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacob Nielsen, who is essentially one of the founding fathers of UX, he recently put out this stark warning.
What did he say?
He said designers who resist this change and stick to the old methods of just producing visual artifacts will be entirely unemployable within 5 years.
Wow, 5 years.
5 years. The craft has fundamentally moved on.
Yeah, we are seeing the proof of that in the wild right now. Like, Automatic recently ran a workshop where 20 designers completely bypassed Figma mockups.
Which is wild, because Figma is the industry standard.
Right. It's usually where designers draw up how a website should look before engineers build it. But here, they skipped the drawing phase entirely. They worked directly in production code bases, like literally opening pull requests.
Meaning they were submitting actual functional code to alter the live machinery of the product rather than just handing a picture of a website to a developer.
Yeah, exactly. Then there's this dispatch from a senior product designer at Slack who's using AI tools. I think he used Cursor to build functional prototypes directly in his browser.
Cursor is huge right now for that.
Totally. And my favorite example from the sources, A product designer who rebuilt his entire portfolio over a single weekend using Claude Code.
A whole portfolio in a weekend.
Yes, and he didn't focus on writing the HTML. He focused on writing a deeply detailed design brief, a build plan, and curating his assets. He managed the intent, and the AI produced the artifact.
What we are seeing really mirrors the traditional role of a staff designer in a large tech company.
Oh, how so?
Well, when someone reaches that senior staff level, their job isn't individual output anymore. They aren't the ones solving every little micro interaction. Their job is setting the direction, establishing the quality standards, coaching the team.
Setting the intent, basically.
Exactly. And now, thanks to tools like Google Stitch and Replit Agent 4, which, by the way, just launched its newest version after that highly publicized 4-month Apple ban.
Oh, right. I remember that ban.
Yeah. So because of these tools, everyone has to act like a staff designer now. You are steering parallel AI agents in real time.
But there is a huge trap here. As we hand the tools over to the AI, we are losing something critical in translation. One of the sources talked about how valuable insights and the actual framing of a problem are getting trapped and lost in the AI chat stream.
Oh yes, the chat trap.
I felt this myself. You just start mashing regenerate on a chatbot instead of actually thinking. We rely so much on bouncing ideas off the AI that the deliberate sketching and reflection that, used to shape human ideas is just evaporating.
Yeah, that is the paradox of efficiency. AI works best as a production tool after the human has already clarified the structure and the intent.
Right.
If you use AI to do your thinking for you from a blank page, you end up with what the industry is calling the sea of sameness. AI can competently generate like 80% of a design. It gets the standard layout, the expected structure, but it completely fails at the final 20%.
And that 20% is everything.
Yes.
I mean, it's the brand identity, the emotional connection, the soul of the product.
Exactly. It's the nuance.
It's getting so bad. There is literally a satirical website right now called Fraud Design. It just ruthlessly mocks founders who accept this subpar, effortless, AI-generated design and convince themselves it looks premium. It is causing massive brand erosion across the web.
And what's fascinating here is the way you solve that 80-20 problem, especially for a business. The true advantage for AI-powered systems going forward is not the sophistication of the underlying model.
Really?
Really, it's not about having a slightly smarter LLM. The true advantage is institutional memory.
Okay, I'm struggling with that concept. If we feed an AI our past decisions and previous designs, aren't we just hard-coding our past biases into future products? Like, how does it innovate if it's chained to memory?
Well, it's not about rote repetition. It's about context retrieval before acting. Think about a design critique at a company. It's not just about the final decision to make a button blue, right? It's about why the decision was made.
Okay, I'm with you.
If an AI doesn't know that you tried a red button 2 years ago and it completely tanked your conversion rates, the AI will just confidently suggest a red button again. The memory prevents the system from regressing.
Ah, okay. Are we seriously saying the secret to good AI is feeding it all of our messy, passive-aggressive Slack arguments?
Well, ideally structured a bit better than that. But yes, the context of those arguments.
It's like when you use ChatGPT to write an email and you have to keep reminding it of your specific tone and vocabulary every single time. If you don't build a system to save those preferences like your own personal institutional memory, you're starting from scratch and it sounds like a generic robot.
Precisely. For an AI agent to design something that actually feels like your brand, it needs access to your accumulated decision-making memory. That means architectural decision records, deprecated patterns, the history of user research.
There's a ton of data.
It is. And if you don't structure that knowledge into a searchable index, like what PJ Honori is pushing for with his new design system DocSpec, the AI constantly reinvents the wheel. That leads to skyrocketing compute costs and a total loss of trust from the human team.
That makes a lot of sense. So we have this shift. We are principals managing intent, and we desperately need memory to guide the AI. But, how is this actually hitting the consumer devices we use every day?
Now, let's look at the reality check, because the late May 2026 leaks and redesigns are just wild.
Apple is the perfect case study of this transition in action.
Yeah, the iOS COM7 leaks show a total overhaul. Siri is reportedly moving fully into the dynamic island at the top of the iPhone screen as this omnipresent search or ask agent.
Right. It's not an app you open anymore. It's a layer over everything, combining voice, type requests, web search, and chatbot conversations with deep integration for ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude.
They're pulling out all the stops.
And we're also seeing major upgrades to the camera app, an AirPods UX revamp to handle them as more sophisticated wearables, and major visual fixes to Apple's Image Playground and Genmoji.
Oh, they had to fix that. They took a massive reputational hit for the low-quality, weirdly distorted AI image results back in iOS 18.2.
They really did. And to fix it, the leaks suggest they might be bringing in Google's Nano Banana models, which I have to admit sounds exactly like a Mario Kart item.
It totally does. But Nano Banana is actually Google's highly compressed on-device AI model. It's designed to run locally on your phone's hardware to generate high-quality images instantly without needing to ping a server in the cloud.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's all about making that AI intent layer completely frictionless.
Plus, looking ahead to 2027, the iPhone XX hardware leaks are showing a radically redesigned device with curved glass and solid-state buttons instead of physical click mechanisms.
Pushing for zero friction again.
Exactly. And outside of Apple, Firefox Project Nova is doing a Fire-inspired compact mode redesign. Spotify is rolling out a new podcast clips feature right in the Now Playing view so users can trim and share audio without ever leaving the app. And Roku is doing its first home screen overhaul in over a decade.
That Roku redesign is a crucial example of what we've been talking about. How does it reflect the shift from a user to a principal?
Well, instead of a traditional grid of apps where you, the user, click Netflix, then scroll to find a movie, Roku is curating a personalized dashboard. It anticipates what you want to watch based on your intent and viewing history, bypassing the apps entirely. It acts as your agent, surfacing the content directly.
Right. But when companies optimize purely for efficiency and AI curation, they often strip away human empathy, and that is causing a massive consumer backlash.
Here's where it gets really interesting. When tech shifts too fast without that empathy, users completely rebel. Look at the fury over the Google Wallet redesign.
Oh, that was a disaster.
They tried to streamline the user experience, but they hid the search feature, made the fonts tiny, and put two cards side by side. People revolted because they couldn't quickly find their payment cards at a register.
Total friction when you're trying to pay.
Exactly. Or look at Bob's Red Mill. They updated their iconic logo for better digital readability, but they removed the illustration of their late founder, Bob Moore, who passed away in 2024. The internet exploded. People compared it to that disastrous, soulless Cracker Barrel rebrand.
Companies are forgetting that a user interface isn't just a functional tool to be optimized by AI. It's an emotional touch point. The sources highlight some incredible counterexamples where companies leaned into human-centered design.
Like every.org, right?
Yeah. Every.org used strict user-centered principles and saw a 29.5% increase in donation rates. And look at the recent rebrands for McDonald's Charity and Standard Life. Standard Life is a 200-year-old retirement company. They didn't just make a frictionless AI interface. They redesigned their identity to be warm, optimistic, and deeply empathetic to appeal to Gen Z.
That ties into a larger argument being made by UX leaders right now. Design teams need to strategically own customer retention. Acquiring a customer costs 5 times more than keeping one. If you just let an AI build a frictionless, mathematically perfect checkout page, you lose the emotional stickiness that creates a lifetime customer.
Which brings us to the most fascinating macro trend in this entire stack of sources. As our digital tools become increasingly frictionless, as AI anticipates our every need and smooths out every digital interaction, human culture is swinging violently in the exact opposite direction.
We are seeing a massive pushback toward the physical, the tactile, and the imperfect. I want to spend a second on this because it really blew my mind. Jony Ive, the legendary designer who spent 20 years at Apple systematically removing every physical keyboard, button, and port from our sleek glass iPhones, he just designed the cockpit for Ferrari's new loose EV supercar.
Oh, what did he do?
He emphasized mechanical clocks, heavy physical dials, and brushed aluminum. He explicitly moved away from the giant, glowing touchscreen panels that are in literally every other modern car.
It's a profound statement, and we're seeing it in branding, too. Amsterdam just got a new restaurant called Nicotine, housed in an old tobacco factory. The designers used analog India ink and a cigarette-inspired logo to create an intentionally rough, tactile vibe.
Very raw.
Yeah. Even CCAI, the Coalition for Responsible AI, specifically adopted organic watercolor branding and collaborative drawing tools. They explicitly wanted to avoid that polished, glowing, flawless corporate AI aesthetic.
Even interior design trends for 2026 are shifting away from cool, pristine minimalism toward warm, lived-in spaces that prioritize emotional comfort. And Pixar, for their upcoming movie Gato, is ditching their legendary 3D computer-generated look for hand-painted animation.
There is a term for this cultural rebellion: frictionmaxxing.
Frictionmaxxing.
It's the philosophy that by optimizing away all the inconvenience in our lives,
Oh.
we are accidentally removing the pauses, the boredom, and the inefficiencies that actually foster intimacy and creativity. Slowness isn't an obstacle to life. It's an essential part of experiencing it.
That's beautifully put.
As digital perfection becomes effortless and cheap, human imperfection becomes incredibly valuable. This raises an important question about our desperate need to verify humanity.
I noticed that in the tech updates. It's why OpenAI and Google are scrambling to adopt C2PA metadata and synthing. But what exactly are those?
Think of them as digital nutrition labels permanently baked into an image or audio file's underlying code. They are invisible watermarks designed to cryptographically prove human origin or flag AI generation. We just want to know what is real anymore.
And I have to ask, is Frictionmaxxing just nostalgia? One of our sources talked about a developer who built the virtual OS museum with 1,700 old operating systems you can run in a browser.
Yeah, I saw that.
Is craving a physical dial on a dashboard or missing the clunky old Mac interface just us wearing rose-tinted glasses? Or is it an actual survival mechanism for human creativity?
I would argue it is absolutely a survival mechanism. Creativity requires constraints. It requires resistance. When an AI agent can perfectly execute any command instantly, the resistance disappears. And without resistance, you don't get the happy accidents, the weird deviations, the struggle that makes art or a product resonate emotionally with another human being.
Okay.
We need the friction to feel alive.
So what does this all mean? Synthesizing all of this, we are living through a bizarre split reality. On one hand, we are eagerly handing the digital keys over to AI agents. We are becoming the principals, stepping into the role of the executive chef and just dictating the menu. But simultaneously, we are craving heavy mechanical buttons, hand-painted animation, India ink, and real-world friction.
It means the value proposition of human effort has completely inverted. For decades, the economy valued humans who could act like machines. The people who could perfectly execute a repetitive task, push the pixels, or write the boilerplate code.
Right.
Now, machines can act like machines, which means, for the first time, we actually value humans for being human.
If you want to thrive as a learner or creator or a professional right now, the playbook is clear. Don't focus on producing artifacts. The machines will do that. Focus on your intent. Develop a rich system of institutional memory for your decisions so your AI agents have the context they need to understand why you make choices.
And most importantly, don't be afraid to embrace a little friction in your creative process.
Exactly. Let the AI do the digital chores, but keep the messy human struggle for yourself.
The friction is the feature, not the bug.
I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. We talked about AI handling the digital chores so flawlessly that the digital world becomes completely frictionless and entirely invisible. If that happens, will the physical, inconvenient world become the ultimate luxury status symbol? 10 years from now, will you be paying a premium just for the privilege of waiting in a physical line or feeling the satisfying click of a heavy mechanical button?
Spoken Tech for your ears.